Imagine a typical, a tier 2 guy where they are not confident to speak to a girl and all that. There are people like that. माँ भी दूध तभी देती है जब बच्चा रोता है. Right? कैसे पता चलेगा?
What's your opinion of Seema Aunty?
I'm not saying that all matchmakers do this, but they also try to convince or demotivate the girl, quit the job. Problem solved. See, folks like Nikhil, Kamath, or even Tanmay, but I would say, I feel that they have no insecurities. Whatever they know, they are very open to share it with the audience. I just changed my gender one day. With the same photo, this photo, with a beard. I got like 50 matches in a minute.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they're not even checking. Yeah, maybe she's a girl who doesn't want to show her face now. तो उसने भाई का डाला होगा.
Hi guys, my name is Vaibhav and welcome to another episode of the Vaibhav Munjal podcast. आज का मेरा episode है with Nikunj, who is the founder of Common Friend, an app for people who are seeking serious relationships. निकुंज से मैंने बहुत सारी बातें की. मैंने इनसे dating world के बारे में बातें की, dating apps के बारे में बातें की, matrimony apps के बारे में बातें की, सीमा आंटी के बारे में बातें की. Very fascinating conversation because online dating and modern world relationships is a subject जो मेरे को भी बहुत fascinate करता है. So let's jump right inside the conversation I had with Nikunj. Hi Nikunj, how are you?
I'm great. Hi.
Welcome to the Vaibhav Munjal podcast. क्या हाल है आपके?
ठीक हूँ.
So Nikunj, मैं मेरी audience को like आपसे रूबरू कराना चाहता हूँ. So would it be safe to call you an entrepreneur who is interested in stand-up comic? Because मैंने आपका stand-up का वो clip देखी थी, which I really liked. So stand-up comedy आपकी life का कितना बड़ा part है?
Okay, तो इसका सीन ये है, इसका एक स्टोरी है. तो सीन ये है कि we have launched an app called Common Friend, and the idea is so there are two ways of looking at it. One is the business part where people download it and all that. But I feel that this sector is something where you would also need an education angle to it, in the sense, I would rather say an exposure angle to it, that what if there are people who share their experiences and a viewer sees it. So I'm interested in that part of it. So now how do we do it? We can't just do it, like that, because like if you look at yourself also, you have built it from scratch, right? So me and my team at WLDD wanted to do a product market fit, that if we create content using the founder. So right now I'm talking as a founder, but say there's a character called Common Friend. So the idea is that if we take this person and produce content with this person, will it work or not? So that was the idea. So we picked up a genre that has relevance in the target group of 25 to 35, all right, and something that is a bit more on the difficult side, which now I can, guarantee, like stand-up is difficult. Looking at it, you will not realize it, all right, but if you go there on the stage with the responsibility that these people need to laugh, it is a bit, it's not easy. Yeah. So we rolled it out, and then we, to test waters, and so far so good. I think we can do it. We can take this.
And मैं एक बहुत interesting एक pattern देख रहा हूँ, like in the world where founders are turning into creators and creators are turning into founders. Like आप समझ रहे हो जिसके?
Yeah, there's a merger going on.
हाँ.
See, yeah, that's true. So
क्योंकि सबको मतलब founders को brand चाहिए, जैसे one of the biggest examples is निखिल कामत जो अपने podcast
में वो अच्छा है.
And वो किस level पे कर रहा है? It's like amazing. He's playing the creator game so right.
Yes. See, folks like Nikhil, Kamath, or even Tanmay, but I would say, one thing I really appreciated, and we as audience should be thankful for them, but I feel that they have no insecurities. Whatever they know, they are very open to share it with the audience. So their objective is to share, which I feel is great. Yeah, it'll help the viewer, have a more forward starting point rather than rediscover or reinvent the wheel. So I think this is something that's really good. Coming back to your question. See, I can tell you why I did this. Honestly, I feel when you're a startup and you have limited resources, all right, I would rather trust myself than anyone else when it comes to spreading the word out there or marketing it.
Right.
And if you see the sector I am in, which is dating or matchmaking or matrimony, whatever you want to call it, serious relationship, all this sector. It runs like an event. It's not like an e-commerce. In an e-commerce, you can market your product. The person will come to your store, call it app, website, whatever. In a week, you'll get to know like what's going on, because the inventory is fixed, and so you can run a business like that. But for a business where you're connecting two people, matchmaking, for example, like a job portal or a dating site, where you're connecting two people, the inventory is the product and the product is the inventory. So the key over here to make it run is that you need to really, create an event and you need to get like 10,000 people at the same time.
Yeah.
And now if you apply filters on that, you will see that actually for one person, if you say 10,000, for one person, there might be probably 200 that might be eligible. Yeah. So you do not want to give a product experience where for one person, there's just two people and then what does it do next, right? So it has a, what do you call it? A network effect issue. So how do you counter that? You need to create a buzz, right? So you need to use content for that. And what better than, I think that I would want to take this in my hands.
Nice.
Right? Me and my team would want to take this in my hands rather than, creating ads and then, depending on that and waiting and all that. Like,
इसमें एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग एंगल ये आता है कि व्हेन फाउंडर्स आर पर्टिकुलरली प्लेइंग द कंटेंट गेम तो उनकी दो पर्सनालिटीज है द फाउंडर साइड टू इट एंड द लाइक द कंटेंट साइड ऑफ इट समटाइम्स द कंटेंट क्रिएटर साइड ऑफ इट ओवरपावर्स द फाउंडर तो हो सकता है देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी क्योंकि मैं बहुत जनों में देखता हूँ कि द ऐप इज वन पार्ट ऑफ इट बट let's say you shoot up as a content creator very quickly तो वो एक अलग tangent चालू हो जाता है कि
वो सही बात है बट यार कोई चॉइस है
everyone is a
कोई चॉइस है मतलब you know what honestly I find it easy to speak to people. I'm an extrovert by character, okay, but you know what, I'm more comfortable speaking offline than online. You won't believe मेरे personal Instagram पे मैंने एक post नहीं डाला होगा. Way back when Facebook was there, I used to post, all right, and it used to be funny stuff because at that time there was no Facebook pages, there was no commercial angle to it. So it was like a LAN and an internet. It was like a micro network, all right, in the internet. So I used to broadcast to my friends whom I knew, like I could touch them, But right now, if you see, it's gone beyond that. So you have to control what you're saying and all that. I don't like that. I didn't like that. Now I don't have any option. All right. So, but if I got to adapt, I got to adapt. So, I mean, like I'm saying, option नहीं होता. Boss, if I have to get from 0 to 1, तो जो आ रहा है बीच में मेरे को, I'll have to handle it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my job. Nothing personal.
Yeah. And वहाँ पे वो वाली बात भी आती है जैसे आपने जो निखिल कामत एंड तन्मय पटली कहा कि बिल्कुल no insecurities.
Yeah, it looks मतलब आप देखो the dude for example there's a podcast episode which has a lot of okay I'm bad with names and memory and all that. So there is Tanmay but there is Nikhil.
There is Nas Daily and there is Prajakta Kohli.
Yeah, dude, that really saved like a lot of time for me. And that made logical sense. Like if a person who appreciates maths understands this, and I am aware of, I'm a product guy by खून से product का आदमी. So product design tech is something that I understand. So listening to that podcast, it does really help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It helps and it is so logical. It's so मतलब these are some great tips. And
जैसे कोई आप take away बताओ which stayed with you?
वो बोलते हैं ना content is king. That's true. I could see it because see before this I've never posted, all right, but I realized that see finally people don't care, and in that way Instagram is a very neutral platform if you think about it. It's a very neutral platform. So see, if you're a huge influencer with an average content versus a nobody with zero influencers or whatever followers and a good content, Instagram picks it up, it honors the content. So what happens is that when a share gets, your reach suddenly, is doubles or triples or whatever, depending on the intersection between the two. Yeah. Right. And when the reach doubles and then when people see okay, other people are sharing, and this is what I witnessed. So we posted the reel at 6 o'clock. Okay, this is what I saw because I was interested in understanding what's happening. At 10 o'clock, it had like 1,000 shares. Okay, I do not know what the views were. And I've taken screenshot of it. It had 1,000 shares at 10 o'clock. At 10:05, it became 1,500.
Wow.
Now, why would there be 500 shares more in 5 minutes? There's only one logical reason for that. That probably what is happening is that. So, okay, so imagine this. So, Instagram का धर्म क्या है? User को entertain करना. उसको कुछ नहीं पड़ी है. It wants the user to stick to the app as much as possible. Now, how can it do that? By giving you relevant content or making you discover content that you might like or share. Ideally, Instagram would want you to share every content you see. If you do that, that means Instagram has done a good job in designing its algorithm. Right. That's the ideal way, right? So now what is happening is, so suppose I'm following say 5 guys, but after these 5 guys, what do I watch? So what does Instagram do? It recommends me based on what I like everybody knows how it works. Now in this feed, the question is, what should I push to this guy that he'll like? All right. So from there, what probably it does is, and this is what I've heard also, so I cannot use the word probably. So what it does is it pushes the product to a sample size and see what's the reaction, and then gives it a larger bucket and a larger bucket and a larger. Now, if you look at it from a vertical way, and this is called virality. This is called virality, but these are at different levels, and I think each content gets saturated at कि भाई इससे ज़्यादा viral नहीं होगा, right? And then comes the next content who beats it and stuff like that.
तो आपका उस दिन 10 से 10-5 के बीच में सैंपल साइज बहुत बढ़ गया कि उसने
शेयर्स बढ़ गया क्योंकि उसने मेरी रीच ही बढ़ा दी.
उसने डिसाइड कर लिया कि अब हम ये और सैंपल साइज
एग्जैक्टली उनको देंगे जिन्होंने जो फॉलो नहीं करते हैं इस पेज को. So let's go beyond the bucket and see what happens. Now what happens is it causes a avalanche effect. So what happens is that उसने वो शेयर किया, किसी ने देखा, और रीच मिल गई, और शेयर हुआ, और शेयर नंबर हो गया, और लोग मोटिवेट हो गए, ठीक है. So it will reach its potential and then die. Another thing I have understood how based on like 3 reels, I might be wrong also, but I look at it as this is running like the case of Basanti. जब तक उसके पैर चलेंगे ना तब तक ही सीन चलेगा. This is what I've understood, that the expectation of a follower is that if you are posting, you better post regularly, otherwise I see that the followers go down. All right, so I imagine it as a field of an event where they say every musician is playing, customer walks in, he likes your music, he'll press a like, he'll press a share, he'll go there, he will do that. But the one thing we should understand, that after 5 days if you asked him, do you remember what you liked, he has no memory.
So ये basically negative side of Instagram because यहाँ पे game थोड़ा short lived है. There are these YouTubers I really follow, Colin and Sameer. They say this very interesting thing. If you really want to test your brand, आप तब देखो जब आप 3 महीने content नहीं post करते, are you still relevant? और ये जो test of time है, like maybe a Tanmay Bhatt will be successfully able to do it. हम लोग अभी धीरे धीरे उस level पे पहुँचने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि are you relevant when you don't post? That is when you are a brand.
Obviously, yeah.
It's like कि क्रिकेटर को भी देख लो आप किसी को यार कि आप जब मैच नहीं खेल रहे आप तब कितने relevant हो, और that is something we should all kind of strive to have.
Yeah.
क्योंकि रोज बनाते रहेंगे वहाँ तो मतलब बना.
But doesn't this take inspiration from true life in the sense?
Exactly.
So आपके वही दोस्त है ना जो 5 साल बाद आप मिलोगे पर वो ऐसे बात करता है जैसे आप कल मिलो, that kind of an effect.
Yeah.
Versus being cool, कैसा था ना, small talks and all that shit. मतलब वो नहीं, you know what I mean?
There's this tech YouTuber MKBHD, उसने बहुत सही चीज़ डाली थी कि अभी there is a very big YouTuber जिसने अपनी retirement post डाली. तो उसने कहा जब मैंने ये post देखी तो पहले तो मैं sad feel हुआ कि यार ये retire, और फिर मैं खुश feel हुआ कि इस फील्ड में retire हो सकते हैं. And I'm like कि कितना cool चीज़ है, क्योंकि मैं भी जो कर रहा हूँ यही बात कर रहे थे. How sometimes this is a 9 to 5 job. I would also like to be at a point कि okay, there is a future beyond this.
Yeah, I mean that's natural progression. That's what human beings do.
Yeah.
Right. I mean that's called progress. I mean that is part of evolution. Like you'll get saturated. Now, for example, if you're doing what you're doing and you keep doing that, assuming you don't like being monotonous, or if you liked, you wouldn't have done this, right? But then you will not get that satisfaction, right? Like let's take an example. If you get 100 likes every day, like dude, अब 100 कब तक, 1000 कब जाऊँगा, ठीक है? And probably after that, after 10,000, you'll be like, can I try something new? Can I follow some my passion? Which is also directly proportional to how financially independent you are.
Right.
Because bill तो आना है, bill तो भरना है, right? So उधर से भी,
yeah. And ये जो हम सारी चीज़ ऐसे मैं भी mechanisms इस चीज़ की बनाने की कोशिश करता हूँ कि so that वो exhaustion ना है, right? कि like कि खुद को ना है, मेरी audience को ना है, but like since you are someone who is also building a serious relationship dating app or something, so it's very interesting कि how exhaustion works there, because I think जब हमने पहली बार बात की थी, one thing जो मेरे को आपके साथ बहुत पसंद आया बात करके was how we were kind of on the same page about the overall exhaustion which is there in the world. तो मेरे को ये दो aspects में बात करनी है. एक तो in general life में भी सब exhausted है. वो सब memes भी वही like करते हैं कि 10 बजे उठा नहीं जा रहा, ये वो एक overall exhaustion है.
क्वांटिटी ज्यादा बढ़ गया है, क्वालिटी एवरेज हो गया है. कम हो गया है क्या, मतलब क्या झूठ बोल रहे हैं, कम हो गया है.
तो exhaustion एक in general लोगों को life को लेके जो है, like I think currently people who struggle to get out of bed, मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा high है उसका ratio compared to the people who are like let's do something. And फिर वो dating world में आता है, and that is where things get interesting. कि dating में जब exhaustion आता है कि match भी आ गया, क्या करें, नई बात करनी है. I know so many people, Nikunj, who get insane amount of matches, but they are just so fed up of the loop कि I know how this works.
There's no thrill.
There's no
thrill left, and more than thrill, there's no value.
There's no value. Yeah,
there's no value. मतलब क्या है, मतलब this is a card, that is a card, that's a, there's A, B, C, X, Y, Z. There's no personality, there's no soul attached to it.
Yeah. Right.
This becomes a problem. Then this happens because when, like, if I give you like 10,000 products and I say pick one, I think you'll take a longer time to come to a conclusion. All right. Okay, there's a difference between Just Dial and a Zomato or Swiggy. Just Dial shoots data to you. Okay, and Zomato says, okay, I know this is data and I know you. All right, and that's when matchmaking comes into picture. I know you, I know the data, and I'm absolutely sure that out of these, say, 100 things, 80 आपके काम का ही नहीं है. I'm wasting your time. 20 maybe you like, 10 I'm confident. So hey, this is 20, I'm sorting it in the logical order and presenting it to you. Something like that. So that is also there, but when I've researched, I've realized that a person is not only on one dating app. You know that?
100%. ये है.
It is not, and you'll see an overlap also. So I'll admit I have fake profiles in most of the dating apps. Okay, and I see the same, ये तो यहीं देखा था यार. ठीक है, इसमें अभी तक single है. You don't like that. So if you see, let us divide it into three parts, three buckets. Mota moti. One is say the products that attract the parents. Okay, these are the platforms where Kundli is required, and these are community-driven matchmaking products. Okay, honestly, they have done a good job in getting people from offline to online. All right, because back then that was the problem. There was no mobile phone, there was no design. Like nobody spent time on design. Like a template was there, and the color had to be chosen. All right, and now the now we have gotten into details and we are looking at things from a minutely and all that. Then comes a pool of apps that are international based, and these are casual dating apps. Okay, and then during 2015 to 2017, in that period came Indian serious apps, if I may call that, because it's very difficult to sell an Indian casual app in my point of view, because of the background, because of the culture, traditions in this country. All right. So there is a barrier there, but an international name can be attached to it, not a national name. This is what I feel. All right. By the way, a person who is looking for something casual always prefers an international brand. You notice, people will prefer Uber over an Ola because there is that perception कि ये बाहर का है तो better quality का होगा, which I'm tired of. I think something needs to be done here. I mean, this is a very demotivating factor that is there in the Indian consumer side, that बाहर का है तो अच्छा है. Yeah, I admit कि बाहर के products अच्छे होते हैं, पर यार वो बहुत पहले से शुरू कर चुके हैं ये चीज़ें करना, right? वो एक अलग ही growth curve पे. हम भी आ रहे हैं, ठीक है, हम पहुँचेंगे वहाँ पे. और Indian products भी अच्छे होते हैं, but ये एक mindset block है इंडिया में, ठीक है. So I forgot the topic here. I'm sorry.
नहीं like
I forget things. Yeah.
No, but आप जिस thread पे I would like to know, वो मेरे को 3 बता रहे थे कि किस like ये जो हमारे 3 separate departments है कि किस type की dating apps हो.
So एक होता है जो like I said जो parent oriented होता है. एक जो होता है वो होता है the word in the market is called prospect oriented होता है, where the target is a person who's ideally an individual who say is settled in a tier 1 city, मतलब is independent and wants to look for a life partner on their own. Fair. They're confident. Their parents also trust them because they've lived in hostels and they know how to handle their things. All right. So the parents also trust them. And the third one is the one that is casual dating. All right. This is something that I agree exists, but I'm not interested in selling that because my product is designed towards people who are looking for a serious relationship. I'm not also using the word marriage. I have an assumption that if you get a good guy or a good girl, it will eventually lead to that. Like logic says that. So my focus is on
serious relationship.
on no introducing two good people. That's it. Let them take a decision.
मेरे को एक अलग tangent पे जाते हैं. What's your opinion of Seema Aunty?
Okay. So see, I'll tell you in all honesty, matchmakers do play an important role. Like we need to admit it. Okay. Okay. Think of it from this perspective that you're a party basically who's looking for a marriage. Now, people like Seema Aunty are also important in the sense they play some 2-3 very important roles. Number one, background verification. Trust me, it is like there is no girl's father who's looking out for a guy who will not do a background verification, who won't do a reference check. These problems are solved using Seema Aunty. In all honesty.
No, I'm like.
ऐसा नहीं है कि competition है, but see.
Is Seema Aunty your competition?
In a way, yeah. But I am more focused on solving the problem. Probably we can work together, whatever. Not only Seema Aunty, I'm saying matchmakers.
In fact, like I would love to see a Seema Aunty bot on Common Friend in future. Imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? They do some things that are not replaceable. Like for example, okay, imagine you have a scale of 10,000 people. Okay, what does an LIC agent do? An LIC agent can do sales, can do underwriting, right? He visits the house of the person, he knows the person, and he can pass some sort of a judgment. He can do some sort of a lead verification, which I'm sorry to say, but is important. You see the number of scams that is happening.
Dude.
And now you see there are series coming on these scams and all things that. There was a very interesting podcast of Raj Shamani, and I forgot the name of the guest on that. But she was a lady who is a lawyer, and she was mentioning about how guys are getting honey trapped and all that. So it's on both genders. Like it targets people. Like a criminal doesn't have a gender. These things are also happening. But via matchmakers, the probability of this happening goes very low. Okay, can I open your eyes? So let's compare Apple to Apple. Okay. So on traditional apps, okay, where the parent is finding a match, the boy to girl ratio would, and I'm saying with a very big heart, would be about say 30:70. 30% girls, 70% guys. Okay. I've met a lot of matchmakers. Okay, when I say a lot means 5-6. And from different, like I've met a matchmaker from Salem, Tamil Nadu. Okay, I've met 2 or 3 matchmakers in Mumbai. I've met matchmakers in Ahmedabad. Okay, I've met one matchmaker from Delhi. All right. All of them have a 50-50 balance. Now, convincing 2 parties to meet each other is way easier via matchmaker. The possibility of I did some maths. If you have registered with a matchmaker, the probability of you getting married in a year is, in percentage, is 45%. Online, it's 20%. There is no way we can say that matchmakers don't do their job. They do. There is one problem in matchmakers, if you observe. A matchmaker makes money, so he either goes 0 or 2x. So for example, if there's you and this phone, and both of you are my clients, I will make money off you only if I get you married to this. I don't care if you're happy or sad. So what will happen? Inherently, there'll be a bias. So for example, if you're also looking at something else, it is not in my interest from a business perspective, okay, to be honest, hey, you know what, forget this, that is better for you. I will not do that from a buyer's perspective. I will be biased towards you getting married. That is the problem with matchmakers. Another problem with matchmakers is that these are the problems. There are benefits, which I spoke about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And another problem with matchmakers is that they have not, upgraded themselves with time. So in the sense, if you check out the 12th results, girls' passing rate is much more than guys. But everybody knows this. The data is out there. अब क्या होता था, एक लड़के को अगर 20 साल पहले 20 लड़कियां मिलती थी ना, आज उसको 10 मिल रही है उसी प्रोफाइल को. If you just compare, okay, why? Because the girls have started being independent. They have started earning a lot. All right, and the condition of the guy that the girl should earn more, less than me, still remains. So because of this, what is happening? The options for the guy is lesser than what it used to be earlier. So instead of telling the guy to raise his bar or reduce his expectation or whatever, they also, I mean, it's a fact, so I'm saying this, so, and I'm not saying that all matchmakers do this, but they also try to convince or demotivate the girl to follow her dreams.
Excellent. So they try to convince the
Girl quit the job. Problem solved.
to not follow her dream, no?
Yeah.
To not follow.
Not follow her dream and, quit the job. Problem solved. If there's a matchmaker and he probably said that this is how I solve problems. He solved his problem, but you see what's happening.
Yeah.
And that's wrong.
That's wrong.
That's wrong.
But it's a very fascinating field, like the matchmaking of it. And I think when you bring in the tech side of it वगैरह, तो वो एक जो neutrality आती है उसमें.
Neutrality आती है. क्योंकि क्या होता है कि the decision or the match engine wants to provide you the best. Okay, it is not even aware that you are on another app, right? What you're doing outside. Over here, you are aware. Like matchmakers keep an eye. In fact, they get a high out of it. And let me tell you one more thing. There are 3 types of matchmakers. There'll be a matchmaker who does it for money. All right, that's his business. There's a matchmaker who will do it for indirect benefits. Like what I'll do is, I have a travel agency. But I do this and I say that I'm here to help the community. But what happens that you will go to honeymoon tomorrow, right? And then you will remember me. Okay, so I have an indirect faida. So I am serving the community, but I'm also passing my visiting card. And then there is the third type who just purely does it for like a seva bhav kind of a thing.
जैसे relatives बड़े excite हो जाते हैं एक age के
Yeah,
बाद.
I've seen, yeah, they want this title. Everybody wants to be the common friend. कि ये शादी और मेरी वजह से हुआ. This is the most question. कैसे मिले? और मेरी वजह से मिले यार. So they want to be that guy कि मेरी वजह से मिले.
And particularly ये older generation, मतलब वो they make it their pet project, particularly the parents, the relatives. मैं भी उसी age का हूँ तो I can tell you.
मेरी तो शादी हो गई. I have 2 sons, so I'm done with it.
हाँ, but इनका मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि the people above 40 they have a very strong radar. अगर वो आपके रिलेटिव वगैरह तो अच्छा पकड़ लेते हैं इसको, अब चाहिए तो वो एक उनको मोटिवेशन और एक पर्पस मिल जाता है.
यार ये अब आप देखो ना कि सोशल स्ट्रक्चर ही तो ऐसा है. अगर शादी नहीं होगी तो गेट टुगेदर कैसे होगा?
ये बात
है ना. हाउ विल वी कंटिन्यू राइट आवर इंटरेक्शंस, हाउ विल वी ग्रो द फैमिली? Okay, we should also be thankful. अगर हम चिढ़ रहे हैं इनसे, okay, and I'm not on their side. See, I'm a pure digital app guy, right? In fact, they are my competition, whatever, I don't know. But I'm being an honest guy. But if you see from one perspective, they also keep the ball rolling. Yeah, they somehow it's like say if you're a smoker and at least there's an ad that says no smoking, no smoking. It might be causing some effect somewhere, and some guy must be quit smoking, and it must be good for him. I've given an extreme example, but you know what I mean, right? कि मतलब होगा कुछ positive effect भी होगा उसका. Actually हम comment नहीं कर सकते. What if हम दोनों बड़े होके यही करें? Like, can you guarantee you won't? Like, I don't know. I've seen a change in me. Like after having kids, yeah, I meet friends. I think it's natural. So I can't guarantee the happiness I feel because of my kids. If there's a friend of mine, like a close friend, I tell him, यार क्या है ये बस बच्चे कब कर रहा है? I have become that auntie or uncle, whatever.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. And मैं आपको बता रहा था कि the dating world in general. So I am a millennial, right? I'm 29 right now. So मैंने बहुत closely ये world through some personal experiences and through the content, the films, the books. मैं काफ़ी ऐसा clinical level पे मेरे को भी देखना पसंद आता. So which brings me back to some of the problems I think जो दुनिया में अभी इस world में हमने exhaustion की बात करी is there. Then ghosting is such a big problem आज की डेट.
I would say the number one problem is discretion. Not privacy. There's a difference. So, for example, if you go to a petrol pump and you fill fuel, okay, privacy means you're expecting them to not tell people that कितने का fuel भरा था और कितने लीटर भरा था, whatever. Discretion means nobody knows you have gone to the fuel pump. Okay. This thing is something where people want discretion. They do not want, because it looks awkward. All right. Now you tell me something. Like especially on these casual dating apps, bro, there's a feature called recommend to a friend.
Oh, काफी खतरनाक.
Why would I do that? Now
It's very
मैं
Black
बताऊं
Mirror-ish.
मैं बताऊं कि हुआ क्या होगा. हुआ ये होगा, उनके प्रोडक्ट टीम को बोला होगा यार हमें रेफरेंस बढ़ाना है. कैसे बढ़ाएं? एक काम करते हैं, हम जो मैच आता है एक बंदे को, वो उसको एक बटन लगा देते हैं रेफर अ फ्रेंड, सो ही विल सेंड इट टू समवन एंड दे विल गेट इट. माय क्वेश्चन इज, okay, this guy good, but does this person know that his profile is being shared?
Exactly. This is so scary. ये एक बहुत सही चीज बोले, मेरे को बहुत खतरनाक.
मेरे को समझ ही नहीं आ रहा भाई ये दुनिया में चल क्या रहा है. मतलब जरा, एंड दीस आर बिग कंपनीज. ओके यार, इतना AI शेआई है, तुमको पता नहीं चल रहा न्यूडिटी है. I can get my phone, I can show you. Like I've seen fake profiles and a bad job done at data entry. Like I'm in Ahmedabad, I'm getting 2 consecutive, and because of that, I had to pay to undo it.
क्या?
So I got 2 consecutive profiles, okay, with the same name, same photo, same distance. Now, how is it possible that in my radius there are 2 people who are exactly same with the same name, and both of them were not Indian? Like they were clearly Japanese, South Korean looking women. Okay, from a modeling agency. I think data entry issue out. This is what's happening. Like there are fake profiles. I've heard things like, the moment your subscription is going to get over, you're going to get a ping like a day before.
You're going to get a
ping, like you're going to get a match. All right, a day before ki, hey, this person likes you, and then you get excited, and then you think, okay, this is the one, और मेरी शादी हो जाएगी. एक काम करता हूँ, शादी है यार, 350-400 रुपए भर लेता हूँ. तुम भरोगे, कुछ नहीं होगा. And I doubt that person also actually did it. It's not necessary, right? That if I get a match of, say, Vaibhav, that Vaibhav actually sent it, or Vaibhav even is aware. I can just pick another profile and shoot it, na? These two don't have to know. So tactics like this are very obvious.
हाँ, तो जिसको कहते हैं कि you two should meet, जो एक फीचर आता है कि where they are like कि we think you are a...
How will you meet? Like okay, let's do a breakdown. Okay, so if there are 100 people on an app, and I'm saying this with a very big heart, 90% will be guys, 10% will be girls. You know the swipe rate of guys? The swipe rate of guys is 50%. Guys swipe on 50% of the profiles they see. Girls swipe on 5% of the profiles they see. Yes, 5. Okay, now we'll come to this. I'm putting a star over here because this is interesting. Now, what happens is that if there... Okay, so a match will happen if the girl also has to right swipe. Now, if the girl is only swiping on 5%, so what is the potential? If all the girls decide to go on a date, the max is 10%. I'm telling with a very huge heart. Okay, the reality is that 1 or 2% go on a date. So imagine a product where 98% of the users are paying and not even getting the service. It's like going to a restaurant, paying the bill, but not getting the food. 98%, and it's okay. And I'll tell you what, the reality is that these are not dating apps. These are content apps. You know how it works?
Oh, yes.
You remember when we were, like when I was a kid, I used to go to the barber and there used to be Femina, and which is the modern apps. Femina, and there used to be Men's World. You pick one, you look at photos, and then that's exhaustion. Instead of swiping, you're just watching photos, and now nothing is, all of them are pretty, all of them are same, right? It doesn't matter, you're just watching, you're not even noticing anything, right? What is happening is that when you have 90% guys and 10% girls, and girls are uploading content, and guys are paying money, what do these apps charge for? Have you noticed? What is the business model? They charge for discovery. They don't charge for meeting. They charge for discovery. So you swipe 20 right swipes, and they say, oh, you know what, you pay us more money, and then what we'll do is we'll send you more profiles. Okay, date तो किसी को जाना ही नहीं, हमको सबको पता है 2% है, तो मैं कर क्या रहा हूँ?
सही बात.
मैं तो कंटेंट ही देख रहा हूँ ना.
आप मैगजीन के जैसे वो कर रहे हैं.
कंटेंट और क्या, वो जो पुराने जमाने में मैगजीन हुआ करता था, वो नए जमाने में ऐप है.
क्रेजी.
अलग अलग मैगजीन है, अलग अलग ऐप है, और कुछ मॉडल्स आपको दोनों में भी मिल जाएंगे सेम. It's exactly the same. ठीक है, but you know what the sad news is? The models or the whatever were paid over there, and they were aware that they are in the content business. In the app business, the girls are not even aware. They think they're looking for a perfect match. Bro, your content is going out. I mean, that is why at Common Friend, like we have a policy. I do not want to get into, like I really want to solve the problem of discretion. I don't care about the business. I want to first solve the problem. I want to first build a product and then build a business around it. So what we have done is, you can only see profile of those who can see yours. Right. So if I see 5 people, only those 5 people can see me. So it's always mutual. But yes, we are also not, and like you said, exhaustion. You pointed out right, yeah. We are not in the business of saying that ये ले आज के 200 profile. अरे 200 profile होता क्या है ना? The quality is so bad. I'm not objectifying them, but basically they're not understanding you. All right. If you say that I am looking for something like this, they are showing you everything under the sun. What happens is that your trust on their recommendation goes low. So one day you will check, next day you might check, third day you won't check. Yeah. That's called exhaustion in real life. That's how it happens. We do not want to do that. We want to give 10 profiles, but profiles you would get confused कि इसको मैं क्या करूँ? So casual apps, guys are swiping 50%, girls are swiping 5%. Now there's a premium app called RAYA, which has like 1.5 million users. They have only 10% acceptance ratio and all that. So they only have the cream of the crowd, okay? So you might say, you know why 5%? Because probably the profiles of the guys are too bad or something like that. But hold on. In Raya, the swipe rate of a guy is 35%. You know what is it for the girl? 5.
Still 5.
Yeah. So what do we learn? We learn that this is, I mean, I'm sorry, I might be wrong, but my observation from this is that if you take a guy and he has to buy a say t-shirt, and I'm sorry I'm objectifying, but look at the mindset. If there are 2 stores, he will buy. But for a girl, you need a mall. And then she will buy. I think guys tend to focus on the destination and the girl tends to focus on the journey to that place.
No, very true. क्योंकि guys का थोड़ा आपने धूम मूवी देखी है, वो उदय चोपड़ा किसी भी लड़की से मिलता था तो इमेजिन कर लेता था कि बाइक पे बच्चा हो गया, शादी हो गई.
यार ये हर मेरे से भी होता है यार. Let me admit it, like होता है, like it's I also.
So yeah, they just start.
Yeah, because see उनको क्या है, उनका mindset कैसा है कि यार वो कोई भी हो, ठीक है, मैंने ख्याल रखना है. उनका mindset ऐसा है. So I have to give, मतलब their mindset is like that. A woman's mindset is that I think that they try to simulate, or for them how they feel and you know how the journey is and how he talks and how he smells is also important. Of course for guys also, but I think the whole weight for a woman, this weight is way more. And to each his own. Like I appreciate like there's a diversity in gender. Like there's a male, there's a female, and that's how nature is. Right? I have a dad, I have a mom. One male, one female. I love them both. So that's how God has built us. This is what I feel, and we got to respect that. That is where I'm coming to. So, if you ask me that what should be the ideal gender ratio, I do not know. But I know one thing for sure, that if a person sees somebody's profile, only that person should see that profile. So maybe a guy will get only 5 क्या बोलते हैं उसको recommendations, and a girl might get 50. ऐसा हो सकता है. And maybe that will work. But I do not have an answer. And these things actually come from experiment. Like I'm talking like a true product guy. You cannot.
No, I understand.
I mean, I'm not God, right?
बट यहाँ पे एथिकल स्टैंड पॉइंट से इतनी सारी चीज़ों का ध्यान रखना ज़रूरी है. अगर मैं बोलूँ कि जब फीमेल्स अपनी पिक्चर्स अपलोड करती हैं वगैरह, गाइज ऑल्सो टेंड टू लाइक सेंड स्नैपशॉट. अरे तेको पता है वो भी ऐप पे है, ये वाले भी.
Yeah, that is, oh yeah. So see, this is what happens. Let's admit it. सारे लड़के ठीक नहीं है. Like I mean, we have been to school, college, blah blah blah. We met guys, right? They're not. Okay. You know what? If a girl is in Mumbai and she will not join a app in Mumbai if it is location based. But if she goes to Bangalore, she'll feel more comfortable because her society is not there, because the risk of it leaking out is not there. That is called discretion. And that is not respected. You can take screenshots on these apps. You can recommend to a friend. I mean, I can't believe that.
In fact, I don't know, जैसे Netflix and Prime ने क्रैक कर लिया है कि जब मूवी चल रही होती है तो स्नैपशॉट्स ब्लैक होते हैं. ऐसा आई थिंक यार वो तो ना डेटिंग एप्स में भी होना चाहिए.
हाँ होता है मेरे ऐप में.
अच्छा.
Yeah, you can't take a snapshot. बहुत प्रॉब्लम पड़ता है. I can't report a bug. I have to take another phone to do that. It's a, you know, see a person who wants to break the rule will break the rule. But let's not make it easy. You know what? I just changed my gender one day on an app. Okay, with the same photo, this photo with a beard. All right. I got like 50 matches in a minute.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they're not even checking. You know, hope, heights of hope. Yeah, maybe she's a girl who doesn't want to show her face now. तो उसने भाई का डाला होगा. I mean, और maybe check ही नहीं किया होगा. हाँ क्या बोल रहा था? It can be like that.
No, so you're.
I can add. There are even bots that you can overnight आप रख दो, वो swipe करता रहेगा, आप सो रहे हो.
हाँ.
Everybody.
Oh yes. There are these bots जिनका काम ही है वो पूरा आपका स्वाइप
ही करता रहता है.
पूरा शहर स्वाइप कर देगा.
Amazing.
Yeah, this is something. Yeah.
And now, like when I'm in the female mode and I see, yeah, dude, every right swipe is a match. So there'll be 5 matches, 5 non-matches, 5. Have you heard of this thing called incognito mode?
On these apps.
Yeah.
मैं Google
It's
का
very interesting, bro. So on these apps, there's a thing called incognito mode, and this is their answer to solve the problem of discretion. So they say, "Ki in incognito mode, what will happen is first I will see you, I will right swipe, and those who right swipe will only see me." I have a question. What if 2 people are on incognito mode? So if I am on incognito mode and you are in incognito, we can never match. So if the whole world is on incognito mode, we can never match. 0 matches for infinite people. This is not an answer, yaar. So do you see? You know what I feel? I think, and I'm saying this, I think American products lack heart. They lack heart. Matlab, why would you create a product where the purpose is introducing 2 people, but you're creating hierarchies or caste systems? Why would you do that? Premium. There are better ways of making money. Okay. I think if the product works, people will pay money. I've seen, nobody can deny it. Education, health, and these things, marriage or dating. People don't do kanjusi, bro. Have you seen movies, right? Obviously, you've seen movies. What is the number one sapna of every baap in a Bollywood movie? बेटी की शादी कराना है. उसका स्टेप 0 क्या है? लड़का तो चाहिए. अब यार वो अगर शादी भी कराएगा तो लड़का भी चाहिए, तो पहले लड़का तो ठीक से लाएगा, उसमें थोड़ी कंजूसी करेगा. So it's not about the money. But the thing is that in this game, you know who are running it? The guys. The guys are paying for the content created by the girls. You can replace content by profiles. This is what the scene is right now.
Guys are paying for the content.
Yeah, because, I mean, dude, 90-95% are guys. Girls don't have to pay for anything. On Bumble, they have the right to right swipe, and they also believe in equality. But women get to right swipe first, which is, I'll tell you what, if you ask a woman of how it is on Bumble, now they have a different headache. So they've divided the tasks in 2 steps. So first they have to see what they like. When they get exhausted, then there's a second screening session where they have to decide on whom to reply. Because if they don't reply within 24 hours, it goes. So it is a headache for them if you ask them. And I'll tell you point number 3. I don't know how to put this, and this is what I've heard from a lot of women, but women like being approached. I know, we are in a modern era and the women can also pay their bills, and I get that. But up till now, what we're hardwired with is that women will give a hint and the guy is supposed to get the hint and, approach. Like, this is what I feel is their comfortable spot rather than them approaching every guy. I'm sharing this information based on a person who works there, and they're finding this as an issue in India compared to US.
Yeah.
Because finally the tradition takes over. It's not possible. मतलब US में कुछ चलता है उसका मतलब नहीं है इंडिया में भी 100% चलेगा. अगर आप ऑक्सीजन बेच रहे हो हाँ, but you know what I mean. But कि यहाँ पे चिपका दो, ऐसा नहीं होता यार. You have to, it's finally it boils down to people यार. It's very difficult to change the behavior and all that. It is possible, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, and like jitna the knowledge I have about these apps, particularly the ones जहाँ पे the female has to message first.
Yeah.
They always just write hi. You know how men are infamous for कि अरे ढंग से कुछ नहीं बात करते.
You tell me something. They have a list to attend to. And then come up with a desktop version of it, or just plug it into ChatGPT or something. How can you do that? And in their bio, they will also write, I'm looking for a guy who, they are expecting that the guy needs to be an extrovert, okay, and has a good opening line and also honest. I'm a very guy person. Like, I have a lot of guy friends, right? I've been in a boys' school. I was raised in a boys' school. I have done my engineering. I'm confident I understand guys of all shapes and sizes. All right. Yeah, it is very difficult to do that, to pull that off, to be a good flirt. Yeah, guys are more direct, especially the ones they love. This is what I feel.
Interesting. काफी मजा आ रहा है मेरे को. And have you seen like good representation of the modern day dating in like any films, shows, books like that you might like remember? कि यार ये मेरे को बड़ा अच्छा लगा था कि इन्होंने बहुत realistically दिखाया कि how modern day dating works.
Might be controversial, but वो अभी एक movie आई थी ना, वो रणवीर सिंह वाली.
The Alia Bhatt.
Rocky. हाँ. Yeah, it beautifully showed how two people of different opinions could blend. And see, let us understand the times have changed. Okay, you know what? When I grew up, I met people offline first. Okay, and then I decided that do I want to meet them online.
Oh yes.
Now people are first meeting online, and then they are deciding should I meet them offline.
Yes.
You have to understand the things have flipped, yeah. I mean, right? Let us focus on happiness, na? That is isn't that the core wajah of why we are doing all this, right? Can we focus on that? And if this requires some changes, I think we should. I'm a parent as well, not a very serious parent, but one day will be. But you know what I mean? We need to adapt around these things.
That's a film I actually also like. कि when you just like flip the whole thing कि लड़के को लड़की की फैमिली के साथ जाके रहना होगा, लड़की को लड़की की फैमिली के साथ जाना होगा, and culturally आपको blend होना होगा वगैरह. It landed for me the whole idea.
See, I'll tell you my story. So I'm a Kashmiri guy, okay, and there were issues. My parents migrated to Ahmedabad, so I was born in Ahmedabad. Now say when I'm 5 years old. So if I compare with my peers, say who's in Kashmir, example. In their head, they are like, Kashmiri culture is the best, Kashmiri language is the Kashmiri is the blah, 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 blah. My culture is the best. This is what people think. But what happened, I got the opportunity to also understand people in Gujarat. I love Gujarat. I think I'm kind of Gujarati. Right? I can speak Gujarati. I love Gujarati food. I'm Gujarati only. I'm doing business here. I mean, okay. So the thing is that I realized one thing, कि अच्छा मेरा culture ही cool नहीं है, इनका भी है. And then I went to Pune. अच्छा इनका भी है. What happens is that when you get exposed to different people of different economic backgrounds and cultures and all that, I feel your exposure level becomes good enough, and you're thinking, you become more accepting, you become more pro-love. You don't point finger, ये तो ऐसा करते हो, जो ऐसा करते. You're more accepting. Right.
There's this show Black Mirror, उसमें एक episode था dating को लेके. I think that episode is called Hang the DJ.
I've seen that.
हाँ, where two people go on a date और उनको एक device मिलता है. If they click on that device, they'll get to know कि when will their dating thing end.
Okay.
So it can be 60 minutes, it can be 5 years.
So it predicts.
It tells you in reality कि आप एक दूसरे के साथ कितने टाइम रहने वाले हो.
Okay.
या आप ऐसे फ्यूचर में रहते हो कि जहाँ पे आपको पहले पता चल जाएगा
मेरा ब्रेकअप होने वाला है,
कि हाँ ब्रेकअप होने वाला है या मेरी शादी होने वाली है. सो इट्स अबाउट दिस कपल व्हिच डिसाइड हम क्लिक ही नहीं करेंगे, हम नॉर्मल इंसान के जैसे देखेंगे वगैरह.
आई थिंक दे एंडेड अप टुगेदर.
इवेंचुअली उसमें फिर एक जना क्लिक कर लेता है एंड देन दे ब्रेक.
I think that must be an inspiration from that apple bite. Adam Eve. Yeah. There must be a link back to that.
कुछ तो देखना है
किसी को curiosity काट गया है.
कि पता होना चाहिए ना कि मतलब we are addicts of certainty ना. हमें certainty बड़ी पसंद है लाइफ में कि पता हो भाई कि ये है कि ये नहीं है. So I really like that concept. And then I was telling you on that call also, I love that thing यार. Master of None में there's this episode called First Date. Oh.
I've not seen that.
So
I've not seen that. Yeah.
Oh, it's for me. मतलब मेरे को इस जोन में कुछ बनाना है. Like I want to make a show in this zone. So I don't think I've seen a better portrayal of modern day dating. So it's about कि like the guy has gone on multiple dates, and to show the exhaustion, they always show the same restaurant and same table, same chair. The guy is sitting and he's asking questions, and the girl is getting replaced. Oh, so like I ask you, since how long have you been on the apps? So the first girl is there, she's in 7. और फिर कोई और आता है और मैं question पूछ रहा हूँ and the girl has changed now. It's like okay. There's the repetition of it.
Have you observed one thing? In this dating, have you observed that it is heavily biased towards people who are professional daters?
Professional daters.
Yeah, I would not say extroverts.
What does a professional dater
do? A professional dater is a person who is, say, comfortable in one-liners. Whereas, if I've passed these one-liners to 10 people and 6 have responded well, I know it works. Right? So what happens is these apps are biased towards those people.
पर वो तो दुनिया में
win.
पर वो तो हर जगह है ना
नहीं,
the world is biased towards people who speak well, who know.
Yeah, but tell me something. Like, if you want a partner, you really want a professional dater, or you want a person whom you can communicate with? Communicating and talking is different.
पर ये तो ऑफलाइन भी रिस्क रहेगी ना कि अगर मैं किसी को इन पर्सन मिल रहा हूँ, अरे कितनी अच्छी बातें करी, फिर बाद में पता चलता है वो देयर वाज द इशू. लाइक इफ यू काइंड ऑफ हैव द स्किल सेट ऑफ
इन ऐप से मौका ही नहीं मिलता. मौका ही नहीं मिलता because they are just based, because it's biased based on that. So if there's a really great guy and there's a not a great guy, but the not a great guy is a better speaker than this. Okay, the problem is that here in the real world, at least there'll be a hi hello, and at least there's an opportunity. It's unbiased. Over here the hi will come only if the line is good. So there's a natural bias.
But it's not, I don't think it's an app problem. It's just a universal, like वो बोला जाता है ना कि if you're smart, every app is a dating app. ये like आप like देख लो हर जगह, and every time, और चाहे आप किसी को WhatsApp पे मैसेज कर रहे हो, किसी को कहीं भी मैसेज कर रहे हो, जैसे हम बात करते हैं, I have to invite guests on my podcast, right? So the first message is always very important. So don't you think it's better to learn that skill? But वहाँ पे मेरे को मतलब opening like line पे आप काम कर लो कि यार क्या मैसेज करना है, वो आउटसाइड ऑफ डेटिंग भी उतनी इंपॉर्टेंट है, बिकॉज आई डोंट सी दिस एज अ प्रॉब्लम. हाँ,
I'll tell you why it is. मतलब we are judging a, वो बोलते हैं ना, we are judging a fish by if it can fly, मतलब as a bird. मेरे को लगता है ये इफेक्ट, मतलब ये एंगल आता है कि यार see what are the, so if there is a particular say guy or girl, whatever, there is a person and they're looking for another person and say the end goal is to have a great relationship that leads to whatever, foreverness and all that. I do not think the skill of giving a one-liner is really important in the long term. There are other things, there are other opinions. Okay, he's great at one-liners, but he has domestic violence issues. There's a guy, he has a domestic violence issue. Okay, so the point is that he's not judged on that, and there can be a good guy who's not good at speaking but is a good guy. For example, in our app, what we do is we introduce people based on what they are. So there are questions. So I ask everybody a set of questions, and based on that, I understand the person. And when I understand two people, I know what is the commonness between them, and I introduce them. So the idea is to break the ice. Because why I'm doing that, I could have also opened a chat channel, right? You swipe, and then say hi. I'm not doing that because I want to try to make it more unbiased. I want to break the ice and give you.
Fair. This
will have a mathematically a higher probability of both the people to start communicating. You will only fall in love when you start communicating. Once you start communicating, you will understand each other.
Nice.
But yeah, dude, at step 0, yeah, I didn't like his joke. But you know what I mean? Think of it from that perspective.
Fair.
I don't have a problem. I'm not a one-liner guy, but didn't have an issue, right? You know what I mean? I can express myself. But I know a lot of people. They're introverts. They can't talk. मतलब हालत खराब. लड़कों के साथ भी बात कर लेंगे. Imagine a typical, a tier 2 guy. And let's admit it. I mean, there are pockets of, there are societies like this in India, in this country, where they are not, confident to speak to a girl and all that. There are people like that.
बहुत ज़्यादा है, like 95%.
What about them? What, they don't get married or what? They can be a good guy. They can be a good husband, but they're judged based on that. That is the problem.
हाँ, उनके पास भी इसके, so मतलब interesting. So basically you are saying कि if a guy just writes, let's say, hey, मतलब वो बहुत पढ़ा लिखा है, मान लो IIT का है, IIM का है, सब किया हुआ है. By the way, उसकी भी एक अलग ऐप है ना, but like a guy IIT graduate, IIM graduate, but उसको ओपनिंग लाइन वाला गेम नहीं पता.
बाकी सब आता है.
बाकी सब आता है.
हाँ. बताओ, इसकी शादी नहीं हो रही है.
उसने हे लिख दिया बस. गेम ओवर.
खत्म. फेयर है.
Yeah.
That is my problem.
मेरे को यहाँ पे वो लगता है कि it's great कि जैसे you are finding a solution to it, but I was once doing this podcast with the actor Gulshan Devi. उन्होंने एक चीज़ बताई थी कि लोग ना फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में आके प्रॉब्लम बोलते हैं कि नेपोटिज्म है, ये है, वो है. उन्होंने कहा
वो हर फील्ड में है यार.
नहीं, उन्होंने मेरे को बहुत अच्छी चीज़ बोली कि कहीं भी जा रहे हो तो देखो ना कि what are the rules of the game, understand the rules of the game and then play the game. तो मेरे को वो वाली चीज़ भी लगती है ना कि ऑनलाइन डेटिंग वाले में आई एम ग्लैड कि आप उसका एक सोल्यूशन ढूंढ रहे हो, बट जो अभी करंट दीज एप्स आर देयर, तो मेरे को ये भी मैं एक्सपेक्ट करूँगा इफ अ पर्सन इज वेरी वेल रेड, वेरी स्मार्ट, उसको सब आता है लाइफ में, तो यहाँ भी थोड़ी सी मेहनत कर लो ना. Why not learn that thing which will get the thing started? मतलब वहाँ में से थोड़ी बस यार मेरे को ओपनिंग लाइन है.
मेरे को एक क्वेश्चन पूछना है, ठीक है? ऐसे ऐप्स है जहाँ पे फीचर है जहाँ पे आप कॉम्प्लीमेंट दे सकते हो.
हाँ.
एक मिनट. अब इमेजिन करो कि लेट्स से कि आप एक लड़का हो, 10 लड़कियाँ हैं, ठीक है? तो नाउ जस्ट टू break the ice, or just to get attention, you will write a compliment to each one of them. Now I know they don't know, you know. Do you think you're serious? Are you serious?
So you are saying कि मेरे को सबको compliment लिखना है.
आप लिखोगे ना, आपने तो बटन रखा है, अवेलेबल किया है, और and you are saying no कि the example you gave that why not I learn the rules of the game and then do this, but I think it's way more organic यार than crafting it.
यार मैं आपको बताता हूँ there was a time
I'm okay to disagree on this.
मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि एक ज़माने में जब मैंने ये यूज़ की थी apps, तो मैंने ही क्रैक कर लिया था. आप ऑटो पायलट मोड में होते हो. ये मेरे को लाइफ में भी लगता है. मान लो मैं किसी पार्टी में जाऊँ एंड देयर इज अ वेरी बिग स्टार दैट आई वांट टू गेट ऑन द, सो उनका पहला दे आर ऑन द ऑटो पायलट मोड कि इसको मेरे से सेल्फी खिंचानी है, इसको मेरे से सेल्फी खिंचानी है, बात नहीं करनी. सो इन लाइफ ऑल्सो आई एम ट्राइंग टू ब्रेक दैट. आई एम ट्राइंग टू गेट पीपल ऑफ द ऑटो पायलट मोड. आई थिंक दैट इज व्हाट लाइफ इज अबाउट, कि टू कनेक्ट विद सम. अभी हम जैसे बैठे हैं एज ह्यूमन बीइंग्स हम बात कर रहे हैं. सो द गोल इज टू गेट समवन ऑफ द ऑटो पायलट मोड. तो व्हाट आई क्रैक्ड वाज कि मैं हे नहीं भेजूंगा, हाई नहीं भेजूंगा, और मैं कस्टम लाइंस तो सबको लिखूंगा नहीं. आई डोंट हैव द टाइम. सो आई क्रैक्ड अ क्वेश्चन, ये पूछेंगे. तो जो आपने बात बोली कि लोग बाहर की चीज़ों में हार्ट नहीं होता, तो मैंने एक ओपनिंग लाइन क्रैक कर ली बिकॉज दिस इज आई स्टडी समथिंग.
आपने एक चीज़ नोटिस किया?
हाँ.
यू आर कंपेयरिंग ए वन टू मैनी फ्रेमवर्क टू ए वन टू वन फ्रेमवर्क. आप एक के साथ शादी करने वाले हो.
अरे बट ऐप पे है तो आप कह रहे हो कि मेरे को अप्रोच ही एक को करना चाहिए.
हाँ.
थोड़ी होता है.
आई एम नॉट सेइंग एक को करना चाहिए. आई एम सेइंग कि ओके दीज आर द पॉसिबिलिटीज. ओके सो यू शो मी फॉर एग्जांपल यू सी 10 पीपल, यू से दैट दीज 5 आई कैन टेक द नेक्स्ट स्टेप, क्योंकि आप उसी चीज का कमिटमेंट दे रहे हो. बट व्हेन यू आर राइटिंग समथिंग लाइक ए कॉम्प्लीमेंट, ओके आई मीन इजंट इट,
आप मेरा कॉम्प्लीमेंट सुनो, यू लव दिस. ओके, बिकॉज आई एम नॉट गिविंग अ कॉम्प्लीमेंट, आई एम गेटिंग देम ऑफ द ऑटो पायलट मोड. I would send the same message to everyone. Dal chawal or kadi chawal? This was my question. Now I would reply, agar if the person says dal chawal, I would say congratulations, you have passed the test. Now we can begin the conversation. Then I'm like, if the person says kadi chawal, I'll say congratulations, you have passed the test. Maybe we can continue. Some people used to think they are very smart, so they would say rajma chawal. कोई तीसरा आंसर नहीं था. तीसरा मैक्स राजमा चावल. And I'll say the congratulations and we can begin the conversation. And then it will break the ice. So मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि मैंने क्रैक कर लिया कि this is a small activity which will break the ice. This is the thing I have to crack in like podcast also. मैं पहली चीज़ क्या बोलूँ, कैसे हो, जैसे I am trying to become a podcast. मेरे को मेरी podcast hosting की skills इस level की लानी है कि my how are you is the last question of any podcast and the person then is very honest with. मैं आपसे आती पूछा हूँ good यार सही है, बट आप 2 घंटे ऐसी लाइक इस लेवल पे कनेक्ट करो कि when then you ask someone how are you and they're like well to be honest ये इशू चल रहा है. सो मैंने बस एक छोटा, इसमें इतना टाइम नहीं लगा, बहुत लाइक थोड़ा बहुत A/B टेस्टिंग करी and then like you got the person out of like this. And then the first thing I would say is कि see I am this kind of a person. अब तो voice notes का वो आ गया, and I just send voice notes to everyone in life. कि तो मैं ये बोलूँगा कि hey so I like don't like the overall कि मेरे को बहुत ज़्यादा बात करना पसंद नहीं है. Let me know if you are up to meet in person and if you want to do a background check like this is my Instagram ID वगैरह, this is who I am. कि just like get them to meet you in person as soon as
make them comfortable,
to make them कि हाँ आप जो
You're a real
background
guy,
check
हाँ,
करना
you're a
है
real guy,
आप कर लो. ये links है, मैं ये हूँ, मेरा I also tell my full name is this. If you are interested we can meet. And this would work. This was work at least कि अगर मेरे को किसी से मिलना है तो मैंने ही क्रैक कर लिया. Now I am saying कि इतना तो कर सकते हैं ना. मैंने किसी को कॉम्प्लीमेंट नहीं किया. दाल चावल और कड़ी चावल इज नॉट अ कॉम्प्लीमेंट. आई जस्ट लाइक काइंड ऑफ क्रैक कि हाउ टू मेक द एल्गोरिदम आप बताओ, like what's your opinion on
Yeah, so
whatever
I'll
I
tell you
said?
what. So when we were designing the app, there's this popular question about me.
हाँ.
Now, yeah, what about me? I got confused here because if you look at different bios, now some people say that okay, they take it literally, which is a point of view. Ki, "ठीक है, I am like this, I'm this." Some people are saying this is what I want. Okay, there is no surpair, like there is no consistency or there is no symmetry in what the person is saying, right? So to cure this, what we did is we created a question bank. Okay, but this question bank doesn't have lousy questions and it has only two extreme answers, like a yes or a no, a true or a false, north or a south. Okay, you can choose not to answer that question, that's okay. Okay, so do you like cricket, yes or no? Like if you hate it so much, press no. If you are indifferent, just swipe it. From there we want to craft, or from there we want to detect about me, about the person. The way we want to take it forward is when the introductions happen, I take this about me, I take this about me, and I see what is common. Because the objective is to help both of you connect with each other. This is way easier and at scale to operate than for a person going individually on this thing. Because you know what, I'm sorry I'm disagreeing, but I do not want a person to also spend so much time, yaar.
That's why if people have, it's called a pickup line because they apply it to everyone. Ki it's like a opening line of a stand-up comedian. The purpose is not कि मेरे को individually बात करनी है, वो तो चालू ही नहीं हुआ.
So why can't I just automate it?
हाँ, automate हो जाए तो best है.
I just automate it, right? Right. So that is what I'm saying. So now instead of asking you only कि भाई तू एक pickup line लेके आ, आप लेके आओगे, आपके जैसे कितने होंगे? I mean, if you look at people, they're seriously good people. Okay, my father is a PhD. Okay, he was a member of CAG. He's worked on nuclear energy wala side. All right, he's represented India and all that. He has many patents. I can guarantee you he cannot come up with a pickup line.
Yeah, it's.
So how does he marry my mother? And he's a nice guy. He's a nice father, right? You are in the field of communications.
Exactly. इसलिए मैं ना चाहता हूँ कि we give kind of respect to pickup lines outside of dating also.
And that you can do in your chat. You're always free to do that.
हाँ, मतलब मैं आपसे मिला, पहली बार मिला, अगर आप मेरे को लगा यार इंटरेस्टिंग बंदा है, किताब पढ़ रहा है कैफे में बैठ के, इतना कॉन्फिडेंस और इस लेवल का आपको थोड़ा कोशिश करते रहना चाहिए लाइफ. मेरी अभी भी डर लगता है.
It is always good.
है ना?
See, bro, if you don't talk, like how it all starts with communication, right? वो अगर मैं मुंह ही नहीं खोलूंगा तो कैसे पता चलेगा ना? You know, there's a saying कि माँ भी दूध तभी देती है जब बच्चा रोता है, right? कैसे पता चलेगा, right?
Yeah.
Right. So these things happen, right? But where I'm coming from is that I get what you're saying, but it's very subjective, and what I'm saying is very at scale generalizing things.
At scale generalizing, and your app मेरे को जो समझ आ रहा है is also friendly to the people जो at scale मेरे को लगता है लोगों को communication का नहीं है knowledge.
यार आप देख लो ना, इंग्लिश ठीक नहीं है. अब मैं नहीं चाहता हूँ यार कि इसको सब आता था, उसने एक स्पेलिंग मिस्टेक कर दी जो उसने रियलाइज भी नहीं किया. Now people are judging him.
Yes. So interesting.
You know what I mean? If you think at scale, that is what I'm saying. If you think subjectively for an individual this is what I'm saying. So guys like you will do great at dating apps. And that's what's happening. You know what happens on casual dating app? So imagine, for mathematical ease, let us say there are 4 guys, okay, 5 guys, okay, 4 guys and 1 girl. Okay, so say the ratio is 80 to 20. Now what is happening is, what do you think? What is the sales cycle? Say 2 weeks?
Which cycle?
Sales cycle. How to put it? So I don't know. It was the most decent way to putting it out. So what I'm trying to say is like after every 2 weeks, I'm looking for a partner. It's an extremely casual app, right? Okay. Now, what do you think? Is this happening in round robin fashion? No, because there are 4 guys and 1 girl. The Ranveer Singh is winning every time. Every time the Ranveer Singh is winning. Okay. So the Ranveer Singh is with everybody and the remaining 3 are just paying and just watching profiles and just उम्मीद कर रहे हैं कि शायद कुछ match मिल जाए. This is what's happening. That is what I'm trying to say. And there must be some guy out there who's not Ranveer Singh, yeah, but doesn't he deserve to date? So that is why I'm saying it is biased towards people who are good at a certain skill set. This is the problem. We need to cut that bias off to level the field.
नो अब मेरे को एक बात बताओ, मेरे को एक जैसे मेरे को आपका पॉइंट समझ आया है कि देयर इज अ बायस टुवर्ड्स पीपल जिनको ऑनलाइन कम्युनिकेशन ठीक आती है. अब मान लो कि इट इज योर ऐप इज फेवरिंग पीपल जो शायद कम्युनिकेशन में इतने अच्छे नहीं है, यू मेक देम मीट फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम. डज द जॉब ऑफ द ऐप कॉमन फ्रेंड एंड देयर, या आप लोग फिर
No, it ends there.
इट एंड्स
It ends.
और अगर वो उसने सेम गलती ऑनलाइन ऑफलाइन मिलके कर दी फिर यू डोंट केयर?
Oh, that is why I said no, the second part is required. The content creation part, that helps in of do's and don'ts and what others are doing and giving him a perspective.
मैं समझा नहीं.
So I said in the beginning, right? So you have to look at it from, so common friend has two major jobs. One is to facilitate the meet, which is to tech. The another is to provide them exposure for which we want to create content, right? Provide them exposure so that, you know, for example, what if, you know, say I take a podcast and there are two people from different cultures and there's a third person viewing it. He might learn something out of this. And when, say, he comes to the app and has a meeting and because of this learning, he might apply it there. So I'm saying the content also has a responsibility.
And when you refer to content here as content, what content are you?
This is not ads. The objective is not, hey, download my app. No. That's a different thing. Okay? The objective over here is to educate him, like what you said. कि ठीक है, probably a compliment can get a smile on her face. मैं नहीं बोलता है कि तू मत बोल, पर मैं ये बोलता हूँ कि पूरे शहर को मत बोल. क्या वैल्यू रहेगी? You know what I mean? You learn from here, but you apply there. But you need a source of inspiration to get that exposure, right? Even a serial dater will have some scope of learning something.
Did you watch this film खो गए हम कहाँ, जो अभी आई है?
नहीं.
You should watch it.
Is it good?
It's about this field. Just as study also you should watch it. Because when you said serial dater, मेरे दिमाग में पहली शक्ल सिद्धांत चतुर्वेदी के कैरेक्टर के. They have shown him as the serial dater जो एक डेट के बाद ब्लॉक कर देता है and मतलब after that date if he hooks up or anything, he doesn't want to do anything with you after that meeting. बहुत अच्छे से दिखाया उसमें that side of dating Indian context में. But one of the leading apps of India is also their partners for the movie. So, but interesting, yeah, that is also.
I'll check it out.
Yeah,
if it is.
Yeah.
If I'll learn.
So no, amazing, and like it's good to know कि आपने at scale problem identify की है, and like you are trying to help all the people there.
Yeah, I want just people to be happy, man. And like I'm actually a lot. See, for me, the way I look at things is that the entire internet is matchmaking, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Because when you're googling, it's a match between you and the information. Okay, when you're even like this, but here the difference is that over here you're trying to get two people together, right? So I choose this because it's not solved in my head. I don't feel it's solved properly.
Good point. It's not solved. It's
I
not.
mean, 2% I'm meeting, dude. Like,
और मतलब ये
if I get it 3, I've improved by 50%. But you know what I mean? That's a joke.
एंड इट्स नॉट सॉल्व. जैसे मैंने भी जो बात बोली, मेरा एक जो पूरा स्टैंड था कि ऑनलाइन कम्युनिकेशन और इन पे मेहनत करनी चाहिए, बट अगर मेरे को दाल चावल कढ़ी चावल लिखना पड़ रहा है, इट मींस इट्स नॉट सॉल्व. मतलब ऐसे क्यों ना?
यार मैंने एक बार एक एक्सपेरिमेंट किया था. हंसना मत. मैंने ऐसे ही एक्सट्रीम मैंने कहा था कि आई एम इंटरेस्टेड इन मीटिंग अ पर्सन हु लुक्स लाइक अ पिग. आई गॉट अ लॉट ऑफ लाइक्स. Just like that. And then I try, like I see that, because I'll tell you what, women read bios, guys don't. Women are really, really particular, and this men should learn from women. It's actually, you know why? It's natural to them, because see, they live in a system where they got to take care of themselves, they got to protect themselves. So it comes as a self-defense. They want to be really sure before they, take any step in that direction.
आई एम ग्लैड लाइक कि हमने इन सारी चीज़ों की बात की निकुंज, बट मेरे को एग्जॉस्शन से हमारा पूरे हम इस रैबिट होल में चले गए. इन जनरल आई ऑल्सो वांट टू नो योर स्टैंड्स ऑन होस्टिंग.
If you have a feature like this online, it will happen.
अच्छा.
Expect it. Okay. The next best you can do is minimize it. Okay. Now, so I used to work at Lenskart. I'll give you a Lenskart example. So there was a very good place to work and all that, but there was a product called HEC, which is Home Eye Checkup. So,
Which is
Home Eye Checkup. Now, if you tell people that, you know what, I'll do a free home eye checkup, you'll get 1,000 leads, okay? But most of the orders will be cancelled. You know why? Because there's no skin in the game for the guy. But even if you charge 100 rupees, people are serious because there is skin in the game. So we want to experiment with a pricing model where both the parties have to pay to meet. Rest, everything is free. Now, this is a risk that we want to take.
And they'll be paying the app.
They'll paying so for example, if you want to meet, I pay 100 rupees. Example, you pay 100 rupees, we meet. So that's why what we do is that we create a group first. So there's a bot called Common Friend that introduces me and you. Now, if I say hi and you don't say hi in a specific period of time, say 3 days, even though you have paid 100 rupees and you have broken the rule, we are going to put a penalty of 200 rupees. Because the moment you put the penalty out, people start breaking the rules. So this is something you want to experiment, see where it goes.
Interesting. मैं जानना चाहूँगा इसके क्या results हैं. It's very interesting. ये नहीं हुआ पहले.
हाँ, I'll tell you why. मेरे पास choice नहीं है. If I have to really solve the problem, I'll tell you why. मेरे को है ना, पैसे तो कमाने पड़ेंगे वरना बीवी मारेगी. ठीक है? अब कैसे कमाऊँ? अगर मैंने डिस्कवरी पे कमाया ना, तो मैं करूँगा corruption. I will be doing exactly what others are doing. I'll be ruthless about guys. I'll just charge money I'll be a content guy. So that's why I want to only charge for introductions. I want to tie myself to exactly what the product is supposed to do, like introduce people. This second thing, there should also be a loop back from the user or like a feedback. Why did I not like this guy? It's different from block. Block is that I block the user. Okay, I don't know why you can't reject it. Okay, it's the same thing. But say if you report the user, then what happens is that the system says, okay, this guy has been reported 2-3 times. But if you reject the user with a particular reason, saying that he ghosted me or whatever, that's why I rejected. Then there needs to be a mechanism that takes that seriously. Okay, this user is ghosting people. Because this user is then spoiling the experience. And I'll tell you what, I'm open to take the risk. You know why? The assumption is that the guy or the girl won't be on my app alone. Let's be practical about it.
हाँ, but like interesting, अगर आपको data set मिल रहा है.
अगर तुमको content देखना है तो यहाँ वहाँ जाओ. I'm not that guy. I cannot fulfill that need. But if you want something serious, if you want something meaningful, if you want something where rules apply, right? Then you can come here. Let's see what happens, and I'm okay to take the risk. If I play safe any which ways, I'll be a Me Too app. तो ऐसे भी dilute हो जाऊँगा.
मतलब?
यार अभी आप देखोगे मार्केट में there is no difference. क्या डिफरेंस है? A, B, C, D में क्या डिफरेंस है? कोई डिफरेंस नहीं. इनका है ना मार्केटिंग प्ले डिफरेंस है. देख होता क्या है ना, यूजुअली व्हाट हैपेंस, एंड दिस इज अ प्रॉब्लम विद इंजीनियर्स और व्हाटएवर प्रोडक्ट पीपल और टेक पीपल व्हाटएवर फाउंडर्स, दे गेट अ सोल्यूशन एंड देन दे रिवर्स इंजीनियर इट. दे थिंक अच्छा ब्लॉकचेन इज एन एग्जांपल कि मैं ब्लॉकचेन लाया, अब मैं सोचता हूँ कि मैं इसको किस प्रॉब्लम पे फिट करूँ. अगर प्रॉब्लम नहीं फिट हुआ तो मैं दूसरे प्रॉब्लम पे डालूंगा और देखूंगा अरे चल रहा है कि नहीं, चल रहा है कि नहीं. आई थिंक दिस इज द रॉन्ग वे ऑफ fixing things. You need to really appreciate the problem. You need to fall in love with the problem and then backtrack and see what is required to fix this problem. Maybe tech is not required, yaar. तुमने blockchain बना दिया. Maybe it's not required. So all these products just do the same thing and then they advertise, okay, come to us for old school relationship. But okay, you are promising this, but your product experience is exactly the same. I don't want to do what others are doing, yeah. I mean, nothing will happen with that. I'm not interested in that game. Yeah. Dude, if you come in, let's disrupt some shit. Like.
Very nice. काफ़ी interesting conversation है. मेरे को बहुत सारी नई insights मिली. Like I told you, I'm anyway trying to observe this, trying to write something about it.
Let me know, यार. मतलब I'll be interested in whatever. Like.
Yeah. 8-episode series like I'm working on. Hopefully, it should be out sometime soon.
By the way, so there's some early data in, and there's one thing that we have realized. So say if 100 users are there, and I told you about the question bank, we have 30 questions in the question bank. Boss, 90% of the users have read every question, 70-80% have answered them. Like, I'm getting a feeling, it's a learning from me that if you ask a question, people will answer it.
इंटरेस्टिंग. और वो इंटेंट वाली बात भी होती है ना कि
इंटेंट से ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट ये है कि जो प्रोडक्ट है उसको अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल रही है यूज़र को समझने की. Talking cryptic, but you know what I mean. So I can basically develop personas and then use some sort of science over there to see what personas and what personas lead to what consequences. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That makes systems efficient.
I like कि हमने पूरी conversation from product perspective की काफी. Thank you so much, Nikunj. Like just one of my last questions. Is there anything I did not talk about that you would like to say?
Like I would like to understand or learn from you in how to start. Like if I don't want to call it a podcast or anything, but I'm really interested in hosting a party or a debate or a discussion, whatever you want to call it. ठीक है, where I have 2 or 3 people, because I'm the common friend, right? So at least 2 people who come from a different background, but the value is not in their personality or in their face. You know what I mean? They're not a brand. They're not a celebrity. So what would you suggest in like how should I shortlist these types of people? Because the whole objective is to get information on the table and try to exchange notes.
But why do you want it to be a podcast?
That's what I'm saying. I don't necessarily want it to be a podcast. It can be a discussion. I do not know so what is the definition of podcast like by
हाँ, it's ever changing. Like पहले podcast like audio based ही होते थे.
Exactly.
Right. So अभी the way podcasts are also like looked at as कि video होते हैं, but like they are more conversation based.
Yes.
Interview बहुत like ऐसे होता है कि 10 सवाल लिख के आते हैं तो आपकी लाइफ कैसी रही है. Podcast is more of a free flowing conversation between like multiple people or 2 people or a singular person also कि वो आके कैसे non-linear तरीके से like non-pointer based conversation जब करते हैं. For me that is a podcast.
Okay.
I don't know the selection वाला चीज़ का क्या like मैं आपको वहाँ पे कैसे help कर सकता हूँ.
Not the selection part. More importantly कि in a way, yeah, the selection part, what are the traits I should look for? Because see, the thing is that like I need the person to be open enough to put some information on the table. Imagine there's a matchmaker and there's a kid, like a prospect, okay, and them understanding each other's perspective.
Yeah, मतलब but एक level of like screening इसमें required है, where the auditioning part of it comes in, where the communication, quote unquote communication part of it comes in. क्योंकि you might have the 2 greatest people in regard to कि जो आप contrast लाना चाहते हो, but if they don't speak, there is no point, right?
Yeah.
हमारा podcast, और आपने दुनिया में podcast कभी कभी ऐसा भी देखा होगा, non-famous people coming on podcast and they becoming the favorites. ये होस्ट के साथ होता है, ये गेस्ट के साथ होता है कि अगर मान लो कि लाइन से कोई 10 फेमस लोगों को जा रहा है बट एक इंसान को लगेगा फेमस नहीं बट उसकी बातें लोगों को पसंद है. सो यू नीड टू हैव पीपल हु हैव लाइक काइंड ऑफ दैट लाइक वर्टिकल साइड ऑफ डेप्थ इनटू देम कि ये बात कर लेगा एंड लाइक उनको वो नहीं है. तो ये स्क्रीनिंग एंड ऑडिशनिंग वाले पार्ट की कई बात आ रही है. बट अगर आपको वो वाला चाहिए एडवाइस की इन रिगार्ड टू शुड इट बी अ पॉडकास्ट, शुड इट नॉट बी, मेरा तो मानना है कि so podcasting is basically like an Instagram profile. In future everyone will have a podcast of their own. क्योंकि अगर आज की डेट में किसी का पॉडकास्ट चाहिए नहीं, हर जना सोचता है यार मैंने इतनी अच्छी फ़ोन पे बात करी, मेरे को तो पॉडकास्ट चालू कर लेना चाहिए. माई फादर थिंग्स इट, माई मदर थिंग्स इट, हर जना सोचता है. तो 2 से 4 साल में हर जने का अपना पॉडकास्ट होगा. अगर मान लो अभी 1% लोग होगा या 0.1% लोग होगा, every person will have a podcast at different scales. So I तो generally recommend people to start your own podcast. कहीं ना कहीं जो भी आपका एक नीश है जिसमें आपको इंटरेस्ट है, लाइक मेरे को आपसे बात करते ही मैं सोचा नहीं था पहले, बट I'm like, hey, I want to know what this person thinks of Seema Aunty. So like if you get like, let's say a person from East, a matchmaking person, and let's say
exactly that is what I'm saying
कि साउथ का आप एक बंदा ला रहे हो तो वो होगा. But people will only tune in when one thing is a brand, right? Either you can be that brand or maybe the guest is the brand.
Okay.
कोई ना कोई
there needs to be a hook is what you're saying.
हाँ, मतलब कोई ना कोई एक रीजन होना चाहिए कि जिसकी वजह से they'll like land. And because podcasting में it doesn't work like Insta कि आपने बनाई और आपके 50 मिनट में 500 शेयर्स आ गए. 5 मिनट में 500
वो तो based on one observation you can conclude also.
नहीं but like हाँ वहाँ reels में you can still get like lucky. Podcast don't blow up like this. It's a game of patience, it's a game of consistency, it's a game of Tuesday releases and Saturday releases. So वहाँ पे it's a long game. बट मेरे को ये लगता है कि सब गेम खेलेंगे सो इट्स बेटर टू स्टार्ट लाइक सूनर और अपनी नीश पकड़ो जैसे आई एम इंटरेस्टेड इन रिकमेंडेशंस मूवीज बुक्स सो हमने वो नीश पकड़ी है हमें अब रिजल्ट्स अच्छे मिल रहे हैं उस चीज़ के सो एंड सिंस यू आर एनी वे प्लेइंग द कॉन्टेंट गेम यू डेफिनेटली मतलब वही है कि कॉलिन समीर का एक कोट है बी अ ट्रिपल थ्रेट द फ्यूचर बिलोंग्स टू दोज हु आर गुड एट ऑल फॉर्मेट शॉर्ट फॉर्मेट लाइव स्ट्रीम्स एंड लॉन्ग फॉर्मेट सो इट कैन नॉट बी जस्ट शॉर्ट्स इट नीड्स टू बी लॉन्ग फॉर्मेट ऑल्सो कि जैसे मैं चाहूँगा कि अगर आप कॉमेडी भी परस्यू करते हो तो आई वुड लाइक टू सी अगर आप यूट्यूब पे भी अपने 1 घंटे का स्पेशल कहीं अपलोड कर दो
मेरे साथ वो एंगल आता है ना कि सी फाइनली आई एम ए business guy also like I have a responsibility. I mean people are trusting me, right? I have employees, I have customers, I can't
but
let them
आपको
fall.
20% नहीं you are not letting them fall if you are doing this क्योंकि you are doing this and for your business only.
Yeah, but then it needs to be
a balance like
a balance that I give only certain percent of time.
I'm saying कि if you give 20% of your time to content creation then make all kind of content because the reels and these will give you the high they might also make you famous but like उस पे वो ओवरऑल डेप्थ नहीं आएगी इट वोंट बी ऑनेस्ट
Yes,
हाँ
I get it
and like something going viral on YouTube like a long form is very different from a short कि जैसे केसी नाइस्टैट दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा लाइक वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट यूट्यूबर्स है उसको अभी सबसे बड़ा सैड ही फील हो रहा है मैं 10 साल से 15 साल से कंटेंट बना रहा हूँ और उसने न्यूयॉर्क में एक वो दिखाया था पॉट होल था उसके अंदर एक अपना कैमरा डाल के दिखाया था उसकी लाइफ का मोस्ट व्यूड वीडियो बन गया ये इसलिए क्या है यार तुम्हें कोई इज्जत नहीं है मैं जो 15 साल से बना रहा हूँ मैं एक पॉट होल का तुम्हें जूम इन दिखा रहा हूँ तुमने उस पर 100 मिलियन व्यूज़ डाल दिए हाँ तो वही है कि हर चीज़ को उस लेवल का ट्रैक्शन नहीं मिलेगा but you should definitely do it maybe आपको इंडस्ट्री में maybe your target audience is not like normal like viewers आपकी target audience ही बस community हो सकती है कि just this community then you can also do offline meetups of this or whatever कि आप matchmaking वाले पूरे field में घुस रहे हो then people will automatically reach out to you the people who are in this zone जो matchmaking वाले zone में they will reach out to you कि वो like to collaborate like all the Seema aunties and the others uncles की जो interested is problem आपको 20% मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि ब्रांड को देना पड़े मतलब कंटेंट को देना पड़े
नहीं वही है ना लाइक बॉम्बे शेविंग कंपनी आल्सो शांतनु देशपांडे he also because I saw one of his interviews he said that he shoots probably once a month and it's enough to churn out for like a month or something
yeah in fact I have been also doing it like no matter अभी मेरे जो पॉडकास्ट चल रहे हैं मैं रोज की एक रील बना रहा हूँ because
you have to keep that consistent
मेरे को बनानी है और अब रिजल्ट्स मिल रहे हैं 3 months back I was on 1 lakh followers on Instagram now we are on 2,10,000 it's like again and again पहले मेरे अगर एवरेज एक रील पे 10,000 व्यूज आते थे फिर 50 हो गए फिर मेरी शक्ल पे 1 लाख हो गए आप समझ रहे हो लाइक वो बढ़ता जाएगा बिकॉज यू आर ऑल्सो मेकिंग गुड कंटेंट देन वो बहुत ज़्यादा शिफ्ट आता है बट माई गुरु इन ऑल ऑफ दिस इज सैम ऑल्टमैन आई जस्ट लाइक worship every when in doubt I just go and read his article how to be successful उसके
the ChatGPT guy right
हाँ so
you won't believe this ChatGPT is my co-founder
ChatGPT
is my co-founder like I can say that like
we live in a future where ChatGPT
like I have used it so much it
this is such a cool line कि who are your co-founders so me ChatGPT उसका custom नाम दे सकते हो आप
they have an assistant mode and all that
yeah
you can build your own assistant and all that it can think for sure obviously more than a lot of people have know right so it depends on how you use it it's a very effective tool
very nice और ये prompt trainings वगैरह दे the fellow friend of mine Ansh he is into AI वो prompt trainings वगैरह करता
it's very important
yeah
I have realized that
it's like pickup lines कि you need to know what to say
you have to set a boundary and important is also to tell him that यहाँ नहीं जाना
हाँ
that is also because when I experimented I saw that okay ये तो ज़्यादा ही खुला सोच रहा है नहीं reduce your universe you know what I mean so वैसा है it's very interesting
amazing this was amazing Nikunj thank you so much and when will I see the app
it's live already
I can like download both on Apple and like
Apple and Android both yeah
amazing chalo thank you so much and I'll see you soon